pencil lead, I guess, right?
Well,
or that was the foxhole one.
That was the foxhole one.
This Amateur Radio Roundtable is brought to you in part by Icom America. All right, welcome everybody to Amateur Radio Roundtable. I'm Tom Medlin, W5KUB, and I think this is October. Man, it seems like every time I come on here, it's a different month. Man, the time flies by. Gee whiz. October the 1st. Thanks for tuning in tonight. And listen, if you're out there on shortwave listening, if you ran across us on 5130 kilohertz on WBCQ, you can join the show by going to, if you have internet, you can join the show by going to W5KUB.com. You can watch the show, you can get in a chat room, and we'd love to have you. If not, and later you get internet, send us an email to tom@W5KUB. Tell us where you are and let us know what kind of signal you might have heard and how you found us out there on international shortwave. Just want to let everybody know that tonight's show, Katie's got some great things. She's going to show us some neat pictures. She always has neat pictures. Martin Jue is with us tonight. We're going to probably talk a little about everything here. We'll open the phone lines up. We have phone lines. We have local phone numbers in 65 countries where you can call into the show. So we've had several people from Australia dial that local number, and hey, the miracle of technology, the phone rings here. Now we can take up to 1,000 simultaneous phone calls, but I hadn't figured out how to do that yet on the show. I have real trouble managing 2 and 3, so maybe we'll just, have just the perfect amount there. Hey, join us on Facebook. Our Facebook group is called W5KUB on Facebook. It's a ham radio Facebook group. We've got 8,000 hams in that group now. Many of you asked to be friends with me on Facebook. I don't approve friends. My Facebook group is really for our family and just a few. I barely ever get on it. Plus, I don't need 8,000 hams in my personal Facebook group with my family. So if you want to get with me, W5KUB is where I am on Facebook, and I guarantee you we can communicate that way. So let's see. Let's just jump right into it tonight with our remotes here, and let's see what's going on here. Let's see if I can bring in Katie and Martin here. Hey guys, how you doing tonight? That was for Katie first. How you doing, Katie?
Oh. Hi Tom. Hi everyone there. Nice to be back. Hi, Martin.
Hey, Katie. Good to see you.
Good to see you, too.
Look at there. Martin looks like he's got some ivory earrings on, doesn't he? Those look like some fancy ivory earrings there.
They're little AirPods.
Little AirPods, huh? They're little Bluetooth AirPods.
By tapping on them.
Those are.
You see a lot of folks wearing those in the airports.
Those are cool there. Now, hey, real quick, Martin, have you been out the last few weeks? I think you were traveling and going different places, and have you been home for a while, or what's your schedule been like?
I spent last weekend at home.
Okay.
So I've been home for a while.
Okay, well, good. Now, have you gone into the office every day?
Yeah. I go in every day. I don't do much, but I go in.
Man, I tell you, if I was the owner of MFJ, I don't think I'd go in every day, man. I'd find, I'd play radio somewhere. But anyway, how about you, Katie? You've been traveling some, haven't you?
I have. I went out to, we did that on the show a little bit ago. Went out to Anaheim for the wedding and our Anaheim HRO. And then this past week, I went out to Milwaukee for the HRO Superfest and AWL Central Division Convention, and been off to see our granddaughter. And every now and then, we seem to manage to stay at home and do some stuff too.
Oh, wow, man. Well, hey, it's great to get out and see the grandkids. That's always fun. You need to move them a little closer, though, you know.
I know that 8.5 hour drive is just a little too far. Got to get them to move this way.
Yeah, maybe you can there. Well,
Although
all right.
if they
well,
move this way, they think that, Grandma and Grandpa are going to be permanent babysitters. Where I said, oh no.
Oh, well, hey, at that distance, you can't be permanent babysitters, you know. I mean,
exactly.
Well, now look at Martin. Now, I bet you Martin likes to be babysitters. Martin, do you babysit any with your?
Well,
yours?
yeah, that's we spent about a week and a half there last week, and our daughter and her husband they took a trip to a wedding out in Las Vegas, and she asked me what was my favorite part about babysitting, and I said them coming back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I tell you, I have found, Martin, that I used to really, really play a lot with the grandkids and ride them on my back like a horse, and all kinds of stuff, and they'd always jumping on my back. I can't hardly do that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can barely pick them up now.
Well, look, hey, we'll get right into, Katie, your pictures in just a minute. I want to make just a couple other announcements real quick. Dave Kessler, people might be wondering where Dave Kessler is. Dave and his wife, it's that time of year again where they're working on this musical for Christmas, and they're doing all the singing and musical stuff. I don't know what it is, but obviously he does it well enough they let him come back this year. So he did it last year, he's doing it again this year. So that's where he is. Josh has changed his working hours somewhat, and it was tough for him to make it to the show our show starts at 6 o'clock in California. And he used to get off around 5 o'clock, and that 2 mile drive used to take like 4 hours out in California. So, he's having trouble now. His hours are even a little longer, so he's having trouble making a drive and getting on a show. But maybe we'll have some special occurrences with him. Hey, Martin, I met somebody this week. He was in a neighborhood, and I met him, Travis Roach, K4VVM.
Oh yeah.
Do you know Travis?
Yeah, I know Travis.
You knew his dad. You knew his dad, I think, real well.
I knew his dad real well, yeah.
Yeah, well, Travis came by here, and I invited him to the shack, and we started talking, and he mentioned it. He was thinking about a cobweb antenna, and I'm sorry, you lost a sale. I gave him a cobweb antenna.
Okay.
I had a cobweb I built out there, 20 through 6, and it wasn't being used. And I said, well, here, take this and play with it and see how it works. So he's gonna play with that cobweb a little bit. But he mentioned you and how he, I guess, grew up down in Starkville, and his dad knew you too.
His dad was a watchmaker.
Yeah.
Worked on watches, the old mechanical watches.
Oh yeah, that's cool, man. You got to have good eyesight to do that, don't you?
Yeah.
All right.
Super nice guy. I think I'm gonna put a cobweb up.
Are you? Well, we're gonna talk. Hey, I'm gonna make a note because I want to talk to you about that in a little while, because I know you're in the HOA area, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna talk.
I have an antenna strung out.
Yeah.
I have an empty lot behind my house, but it's full of trees. And I have a wireless strung out there, but vines and tree branches and everything is growing all
well,
over.
save that for when we start our discussion a little later. Let's jump back in here with Katie. Let's jump back over here with Katie, and if I can get the right camera shot here. And Katie, let's talk about some of the pictures and things you came back with from your trip.
All right. Well, let me do a share screen here. If I can find it. I just saw it. Where'd it go? Audio video settings. Sorry, hold on. all these darn new settings on Skype.
Yeah, blame Skype. That's what I always do.
Oh, let me put my eyeballs on here, see if I can see what I'm doing. Thought it was these 3 little dots on the bottom.
Well, I think it's 2 squares now, isn't it? Do you see a heart and do you see it?
There it is.
Do you see the
Got
2
it.
little squares?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Try
Start
that.
sharing. Oops, I picked the wrong one. Hold on. And stop sharing. Sorry, guys, I'm out of practice.
You know, that's the way I get on this thing.
There we go.
Hey, a week between shows, and I forget how to flip all the switches here.
Yeah. So this past weekend was the HRO Superfest at the Milwaukee Superstore.
Now, wait, Katie, let me ask you a question. Is that nighttime there? What am I looking at?
I don't know. That's what I'm trying to find out where it's not seeing. Why it's not seeing my other window here. What did I do?
It's black screen.
Yeah, it looks like she took those pictures in the nighttime without a flash.
It says share screen. Share screen. Any luck?
Well, I tell you what, Martin, let's mean you just go get a Coca-Cola or something. We'll come back in a little while.
Yeah, go get a hamburger and come back. Let me see.
Okay.
Let me stop it one more time.
There, you're
right.
back. You're back.
Okay, so here I'm back now. Let's
Yeah.
try this one more time. This one, start sharing, and I wonder if. All right, hold on. I got a solution here.
Well, I'm glad, because I wouldn't.
I know. Here we go. We'll just switch screens, and I will drag this back over here. Switch screen.
Tell you
All
what,
right, now you can see me for a
I
quick second.
I saw you for a second, yes.
Yeah, and let's see if we can do this and this.
Oh,
Are
yeah,
you
yeah.
seeing-
David
are you-
recognizes the picture there. David said that's a picture of a black cat entering a black cat eating licorice in a coal bin at midnight. That's what that
I
is.
like that. All right, I'm not sure why this is. It should be showing the screen now.
Well, it should be. Did it say screen sharing on the little button you clicked?
Yeah, switch screen or window. Let's see.
Hmm.
You know, there's a red line around it. I wonder.
Oh, you got the red line. Well,
You know what? Why don't we? Oh darn. How about you guys talk amongst yourselves for a minute? Let
yeah,
me see
what we
what's
can do,
wrong.
you can just describe each picture if you have to.
That won't do a very good job.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. Here we go.
What's that say over there? Take a little box, take a snapshot, and put the picture in a chat. We're not using chat, but
Yeah, there's something. See, I can see on your screen where it's highlighting, but
all right. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to click on share here, and I'm probably going to really mess it up. Okay, so I'm going to click
if
on
not,
share.
we can always hang up and try again.
Well, wait. Let me click on. I'm clicking on share here. I'm going to see what it does on mine. I get the little picture here that says share screen.
Yep.
So I click
see,
share
I'm seeing
screen.
that on yours.
Huh? And I clicked share
there's me.
screen, but wait a minute. It didn't seem to do anything.
No.
Looks like share screen is not working. Let's see, share screen. Nope, stop sharing. Okay, I'm going to share again.
Yeah, I don't know what's.
Okay, it says share. Oh, what's the little button that, let's see.
It says share computer sound.
Is that what the little switch is for? This is new. Include
Yeah,
audio.
this is
Okay,
a new-
now, hey, look at it.
because it didn't do this.
That's kind of neat. You can run a video now and share the audio. That's cool. Used to you could do
Right.
it. All right, I'm going to hit share screen.
I'm trying it also.
And it didn't work.
Oh, I see what you mean about the pixelization. Maybe it's
Yeah.
something on my end here.
No, it won't even work on my end. So share screen is
Okay.
not working tonight. up here.
Right, so maybe we try to do this.
Wait a minute.
next
What's
week.
that coming up? What was that?
Oh, that's
was
I didn't do that. That's a little feature on here.
Does that look like? Okay.
Oh.
Now, what is that? I'm not doing that either. I'm not doing that.
I was hovering and there's a little bar that pops up and.
All right. Well,
gosh.
obviously,
All right, never mind.
do what?
It's just not going to work.
Okay. Wait. Let's say. Hey, we're getting a lot of help in the chat room. Let's see what they say. I need to read it. Let's see. Hit the button. Hit the button.
Marnie
Tom.
says I haven't paid the Microsoft
Katie's
office
not
in
paid
India
Microsoft. Hope you were the same. Yeah, it's okay. I'm gonna try to share one. Everybody, just stand by a minute. Martin doesn't go to sleep for another 30 minutes, so we got a couple minutes here. Stand by. I'm gonna try to share again.
I think we need to hang me up and recall because that's a terrible connection.
Okay,
anyway.
well, I'll do that. I will hang you up right here, and I'll call you right back. Okay.
All right, sounds good. Bye.
Oh man, I think I ended the whole call. All right, I think I disconnected Martin, so let me add him.
Oh.
You're a lot clearer now, Katie.
Oh, I am?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me add Martin back to the call. Yeah, that definitely. Well, you know what? I think it helped your picture some. Okay.
A little bit.
So, Martin, are you there?
I'm here.
All right.
Let me put the video on. There it is.
Yeah, okay.
Can you
There we
see
go.
me?
All right, I got you, Martin. Oh, you got you. All right, well, Katie,
Yeah. Katie's
try
a
this
lot
one
better.
more
this
time.
may be a failure tonight until you and I go to the Skype school and learn how to do
Right.
it. Oh, there it is. What happened?
Hey!
What'd you do?
Woo!
What'd you do?
We turned it off and turned it back on again.
All
That's,
right.
you know, the rule number
Okay.
one from IT crowd.
All right,
Okay.
well, let's just go with it then.
All right, so here we go. So again, this past weekend in Milwaukee at HRO, which is a ginormous store, we hosted the ARRL the Central Division Convention, and also the Milwaukee Radio Amateurs Club was celebrating their 100 years of affiliation with ARRL. So there was a lot of good stuff going on. We had a lot of great prizes that were donated. So this was just at the very beginning, a little prize drum and just a little entry. Here's a quick view in the back area as we were getting everything set up. That's actually the shipping area in our store. And I was trying to get some photos to give everyone a little view of how gigantic this place is. I know you can't really see the details, but I was having fun trying with one of those landscape photos. So I started on one side and did a complete view, and you could see even with the silliness of the that landscape photo, just how big and massive this place is. We'll see Martin there as proof that Richard was there working, and he was getting the booth. He was the first winner. I said he was the winner because he was the first one set up there, and caught him, building up some antennas and getting everything set up really nice. And he had a constant crowd over at his booth.
Oh, good.
And yeah, and then at the way other end, I just found this funny. This is in the back of the forum room that was used as just lots and lots and lots and lots of packing peanuts, which is just kind of mind-boggling. So on the other side of those packing peanuts, this is the area of this back room that they just set up a lot of chairs, and that was packed when I have another photo when Bob Heil spoke. And also when the ARRL CEO Howard Mickle was in speaking, but worked out really well for the space for people to be able to hear. Popping back into the store, just kind of giving you a quick look as you walk out from the back area. That's actually Joe N6SIX, who's our San Diego manager. Our salesman, all of our store managers came in early in the week in Milwaukee for some sales training together, and we were all like ships in the night. They went back home and I came in for Superfest. There's Stan, one of the regulars at the counter at the store, and he was showing me the new Zum Spot Nexian, and it's quite a cool little contraption. So you could see right on this, this now comes fully built, and it's a little bit bigger than the previous Zoom spots, but this was what was actually happening live while we were standing there in the store. So someone was using Fusion, and that's their call sign. So pretty neat little contraption. And there's Antone. He was getting the tables set up ahead of time with all along this table with all the pens we had out, just laid out a bunch of the tickets so everyone could just fill out their ticket and put it into the prize bin. So they all walked in the same, one area. So this is just kind of the back area as things were getting set up. That really bright area back there was, that's a whole nother room back there, and that's where the clubs were setting up. And you can see the red Icom booth in the process there. And then a lot of the different manufacturers had products coming in, and they were setting up their areas. We also had tables set up for people to just sit at and relax and visit with each other, which works out really nice because you have this big giant area, and of course people want to be able to walk around, talk to people, but then they want to sit down and visit with each other too. So that was part of the really nice part of the setup. There was the league folks getting things up and running, and there's Kevin and Kevin getting their booth set up. Kevin and Kevin again. There's Kevin from BioEno, which you guys probably recognize, and then Kevin from PowerWorks. And they both were pretty active all day long. It was a pretty good crowd running through. Now, if you were at Hamvention this year, you might have popped over past Compact Tenna's booth. This is Dr. Jack Nielsen. He's an inventor, and he's created this little vehicle. Obviously, is not to scale, but the 7-inch antenna above actually is for 2 meters and the 220 and 440 bands. And he did a presentation on it. It's really interesting stuff, and I've got some video which I'll hopefully be able to get posted up on the internet soon. There's now you can see that Richard's dressed properly, so it's Superfest Day, and there's Jerry from Heil Sound. He's a sales manager with them, so we were just about ready to let everybody in the back and get the day started. This was one of our guests filling out all the tickets, as I mentioned. There's Ron, K9ID, and setting up for the gold medal ideas. Ron and Amy, of course, and I'm not sure if Ron's in the room tonight, but they had a steady crowd for folks buying hats, getting their logos on there. They were also making name badges. I brought home a couple of T-shirts myself, one for me and one for my son. And then, let's see, there's Bob from the ARRL, who probably everybody recognizes. He is getting somebody signed up for membership. They had a pretty steady stream at their booth. And there's Robert, W6KR, our CEO of Ham Radio Outlet, along with Kathleen, who's, I apologize, I didn't write down her last name, but she's the new marketing person at the ARRL. So she was there getting associated and getting to know a lot of the people that she'll be working with. So it's another new exciting position with some of the new changes happening at the league. Very exciting stuff. There's Robert speaking with Bob Heil, just visiting about how things were going, and had a great time. We're having a little bit of fun too. There's that a view from the other car, and I happened to catch Bob, see him in the driver's window there. He was over at the ARRL booth, and so we all hollered at him to look our way so we could make it almost look like he was driving that little car.
Yeah.
There's Chuck Abramson from ABR Industries. They were there with all of their various coax and connectors, and they're down in Texas. And Chuck and his brother took over the company when their dad Mark retired. So Chuck and Ben's wife Shannon, the three of them together are running the company now. Of course, Emmett and Rochelle were there with MCOM 1. That was set up out front. There was quite a bit of rain on Friday, so nobody really went out there on Friday. And then Saturday morning was it was rainy on and off, but they were able to at least open it up periodically so people could go out and check it out. It was really busy in the store during the day, so we had lots of visitors and lots of questions being asked. All the sales team were running around helping everybody out, and there's just a little shot of the, like I mentioned, the area for folks to have some camaraderie and hang out and visit with each other, which was really nice. And that just is a closer up shot, I guess. So just lots of people shots. back in the store. There's Phil from Kenwood. He was wandering around visiting with people. They donated a couple of the THD 74s to the grand prizes, which was really super. And the Boy Scouts, they were our heroes of the weekend because they kept us fed all week long. So the boys were hamming it up for me. But they had donuts in the morning and coffee all day long. And then they had hot dogs and brats and soda and water and cookies. So all of that was a big fundraiser for them. And I think we all did a good job because there pretty much was no food by the end of the event. So they were happy, and a really nice group of youngsters there working hard. Speaking of working hard, there's Heather. She was in charge of the prize area and announcing all of the prizes and managing all the tickets. And she was a super duper volunteer taking care of everybody. And next to her is Dan, who is out with his club and also used to be working with HRO. So we know Dan quite well. And so it was kind of fun. I made them pose. There was, like I mentioned, it was a good size forum room. There's Howard Mickle talking about some of the changes and how things are moving forward at the ARRL. There's Ann KC9YL from the YLRL, had to sneak in a YLRL picture in there, and she was visiting with the YLs. There was quite a few there. Now this was the highlight of the weekend as far as I'm concerned. This young man, his name is Max, and that's his dad, Michael, AA9RK, and Max took and passed his technician license. He's 8 years old. And he was obviously super excited. The folks at the league gave him a hat, and he just had the biggest smile on his face when he walked out of the VE session. And he's already got his general book and is starting to study. And he already does some digital contesting with his dad on HF, but he wants to be able to play on his own without dad there in the shack. So he's working towards that. And super excited, just lots of, and there was another young man that upgraded to extra. He was, I think, 11 years old. He and his dad both upgraded to extra. So those are always the fun things to see when you see the young people getting their license and their energy and excitement. There was a lot of activity over at the Yaesu booth, of course, with all of the System Fusion radios, and it's some really good sales going on with them over the weekend. There's Steve Brightman from SDR Play. He was talking about using the SDR, and unfortunately the room was really kind of dark, so I wasn't able to get the greatest photo for that. Heil Sound had that PRAS system, and there was somebody checking it out, and Bob talked about that in his presentation. I was able to live stream that, so we were able to hear the different things as he talked about the articulation and the human voice and how you hear things and how all the microphones worked. It was really, really interesting, and learned quite a bit even about this microphone here. I use the Heil PR40 and learned quite a bit about it. It was really neat. There's our friend Jason from Sam Lex displaying all the different battery power packs, and that foldable solar panel he's got in front of him is really neat, and it's surprisingly light. Really great if you're going out in the field, or if you take it in your camper with you and run things. But Sam Lex has always been a great supporter, attending all these events. Oh, there's John again talking to a customer at the Yaesu booth, and there's the guys from West Mountain Radio. They had a lot of new things in their booths even since Hamvention, and really steady stream talking about all their different products, and they've got a couple new things coming out as well. Of course, Icom booth is always popular, and this was kind of a fun thing as well. This gentleman bought a 7300 and all of the accoutrements that go along with it. So we got it all packed up on a roller table, and Ray Novak, N9JA, the sales manager for Icom, it's the corporate sales manager, national sales manager, something to that effect. But we all know who Ray is. He actually went out and hand-delivered all of the new Icom products to him. And so he thought that was a lot of fun. And we did a little video of that. It was just a little fun way to kind of bring a nice smile to someone at the end of the day, and help packed up his truck as he went home with all of his new stuff. There's John over visiting with Jerry and Bob at the Heil Sound booth, and it's getting to be towards the end of the day, and everybody's kind of popping around to say hello to everybody. Oh, there's Jack talking about his compact antenna. And here's the full-size one as he was talking about. So I don't know if you can see my mouse, but this actually carries 6 bands on it. It's this big piece and this piece, and then it just sits on a regular mount, and then it has it on a piece of metal down there. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it's all in one antenna, so it's ideal for a stealth antenna needs, or if you need to put something in an antenna in your attic. But yeah, it's really neat antenna. And so as we pulled away Saturday evening, the store was all lit up and the parking lot looked all aglow, and it was a good time. Really appreciate everybody who was there. Thank you to all the manufacturers that had donated prizes. Thanks to all the volunteers and staff, and appreciate the opportunity to be able to go and participate. And happy to be home again. And I've just about lost my voice, so it's good timing.
Oh wow, that was great, Katie. There was a lot of people there.
There really was.
They came from a long ways off, didn't they?
Yeah, people came in from all around. It wasn't just obviously the Milwaukee area, but I think quite a few people come down from the Chicago area, and there are a lot of clubs in the Milwaukee, that general area. So there was a really good showing by all of the clubs, and again, because it was an ARRL division, you had a lot of those folks, and a really great turnout by the manufacturers. We were really pleased, and seemed to be, I don't have the final numbers on the VE session, but there were quite a few people taking their tests and either getting their license or upgrading. So that's always a fun thing to see as well. So I think that's cool. About it.
Well, that's so cool. Thank you so much, Katie, for showing us all those pictures and getting to see all of our friends again. You know, a lot of these people, we see them at different Hamfests, but it's always good to talk to them again. Right. You know, it's a great hobby. You said you'd mentioned someone just upgraded there. Oh, hey, let me make an announcement on here. We've got a member of the group here, Anthony, KG5JPU, down in Texas. He's legally blind, but he's in the net every Tuesday night, and he watches the shows. I think after they're recorded, he listens to the shows, and he just got his extra license, I think, this week. So he just upgraded, that's awesome. That's great for Anthony. And we'll be talking to you, Anthony, next week again.
Hey, congratulations.
All right. Well.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Katie, and hopefully we'll see you again next week. If you're not out traveling or anything,
I will do my best, and,
okay.
And I'm still recuperating from my travels, so I am going to sign off this evening and let you gentlemen take over, because I've just about lost my wherewithal to keep going.
Well, very good. Thank you so much, Katie, and we'll see you next week. Appreciate
Sounds
it.
good. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Get some rest, Katie.
I will. Thanks, Martin. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, let's see here if I can bring Martin in. Yeah, there's Martin here. All right. Well, hey, Martin, stand by just a second, and
okay.
we'll be right back here. Oh, I didn't want to do that one. Heard it, worked it, logged it. It's time to get the transceiver that's best suited for your lifestyle. Icom offers a variety of high-performance and innovative products. Make the most out of contesting with one of these Icoms today. The IC7610 is the SDR every ham wants. This high-performance SDR has the ability to pick out the faintest of signals even in the presence of stronger adjacent signals. The Icom 7610 is a direct sampling software-defined radio that will change the world's definition of an SDR transceiver. It has 110 dB RMDR, independent dual receivers, and dual Digiselect, changing the way entry-level HF is designed. The IC7300 is a high-performance, innovative HF transceiver with a compact design that will far exceed your expectations. It has RF direct sampling, 15 discrete bandpass filters, a 4.3-inch color touchscreen, real-time spectrum scope, and an SD memory card slot. The IC7851 allows you to keep your competitive contesting edge with faster processors, higher input gain, higher display resolution, and a cleaner signal. Icom's IC7851 is a pinnacle of HF perfection. It has dual receivers, digital IF filters, memory keyer, digital voice recorder, high-resolution Spectrum waterfall, enhanced PC connectivity, and an SD memory card slot. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on Icom radios.
LDG Electronics provides state-of-the-art antenna tuners for every amateur need. From QRP to QRO, fixed stations, portable and remote, an LDG tuner will match your radio to your antenna using our lightning-fast, proprietary tuning algorithms. LDG is a family-owned and operated company dedicated to bringing innovative, quality products to the amateur market. All LDG products carry a full 2-year warranty that is fully transferable. Support is only a phone call or email away. We're always here to help you. Visit us on the web at ldgelectronics.com.
All right, we're back with Martin Jue, the founder of MFJ. Hey, Martin. Boy, I tell you what, ham radio's fun, isn't it?
Oh, it is fun. It's been fun for lots of years.
Yeah. I mean, you and I both got our license back last century.
Yeah, so it's been almost 60 years for me.
Yeah, I'm just a little behind you. I'm getting close to about 56 years. You beat me there just a little bit. But that's good, man. You know, our backgrounds were like.
Yeah,
We're both in the Delta, you know, the Mississippi Delta, and off. Yeah. I guess
you grew up in Memphis, didn't you?
Well, no, I lived over in Arkansas in the Mississippi Delta over there on Highway 61 up there, right near the river, you know. Delta farming land. What?
What town did you grow up in?
I grew up in a town called Wilson, Arkansas.
Okay.
That was just south of Osceola. If you know the map, you got Blytheville and Osceola, and you got Wilson down here. Now Wilson was a city or a little town of about 1,000 people that Robert E. Lee Wilson III was the mayor. Of course, all the Wilsons they owned the entire county. Martin, you couldn't even own a house there until about 1970. They started letting you buy your own house, but he owned the entire town, the stores, the gas station. He owned much of the county and a number of cities in around there. He even named the cities. They were named after his daughters. So anyway, you know, we were both novices back then in the Delta and trying to figure out how ham radio worked back then. Now, you told me earlier that you're in a HOA. But obviously they don't enforce it very much there, or you're getting away with running some wires, right?
Well, I am. They just don't see it.
They just don't see them. And I think that's cool.
It's behind the house.
Yeah.
And there's a lot behind me, which is part of my property, but it's full of trees. And I have a wire that runs from the house to the back through the trees, but there's branches and leaves and vines that gets all over the wire, so it's really not a real useful antenna. So I'm thinking about putting up a cobweb behind my house, but below the roof line, so nobody can see it when they drive past.
Well, that might work out real well for you. The cobweb I gave to Travis, he's going to put in his attic. You know, he's in a HOA too. And, you know, a lot of people are in these HOAs and you wonder, well, why would you ever sign up and get an HOA? But it just happens. Sometimes life goes on, you know, and you have to deal with it. But now, have you ever had a tower in all your ham years? Have you ever had a tower up and say a tri-bander on top of it?
Well, I had a TV push-up pole up about 50 feet guide with a 2-element mini beam. It was a mini quad antenna. This is back in the 70s. And that was in a different neighborhood back then. But even when I wasn't operating, I used to get neighbors to come by and tell me that I was interfering with their TV. That was before we had cable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. I'm answering somebody in the chat room here.
Mm-hmm.
So, guy was asking about Armorel. That's a city up there, but Armorel really wasn't named after his daughters. Armorel, how it got its name was R, that's for Arkansas, Mo for Missouri, and Rel, R-E-L, Robert E. Lee for Wilson. So that's how that name came about right there.
Mm.
So you had a push up and a little quad up there, a little mini quad beam, and was that in your early years, or was that kind of later after you done upgraded?
It was in my mid years here in Starkville before I moved to the house that I'm in now. I've been in this house for almost 25 years. But that was a 2-element, just a small beam, very similar to the ones that we make now.
Uh-huh.
It worked great. I mean, it had good directivity, get some gain out of it. It was turned with something a little bit bigger than a TV rotator.
Yeah.
And it was a good little antenna. Back then, propagation was great. You could.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now though,
70s.
things are getting better now. You've got the rig pie out. You can operate remote. You can operate your big station remote, from your office now at your home.
That's true. You're right.
We need to get that set up. Get one of those set up for you there. And so you don't have a lot of antennas or anything set up right now. But do you do any operation there at the office? You've got an antenna up at the office.
I've got some antennas at the office. I've got an extended double zep for 40 meters. That's like 180 feet.
Uh-huh.
And I've got several verticals. That's the building I'm in. Over at the High Gain building, there's several beams up.
Oh yeah. Well, you showed me and you told me all about your extended double zep, so I built one, and that's what I use here on 40 when when I'm on the net. And boy, I tell you, I'm getting some great signal reports. Martin, I've never been known for a loud signal in 50-something years, but people are telling me now I have a loud signal. I think an antenna helps, plus the amplifier probably helps a lot too. But that antenna, I think, is doing a good job. I think mine ended up around 172 feet or so, and I fed it with open line. I've got one of your tuners.
Okay.
I got one of your tuners, the 1.5 kilowatt tuners at the very base of at the ground, and I tune that, and then I've got LMR 400 that runs underground all the way to the shack. So it works out really well for me. I can use it on just about any band. I don't know how effective the double zep is on other bands, but
they all work.
Works. Yeah.
Good. But on 40, you get almost 3 dB a gain. I mean, that's like doubling your power.
Yeah.
And the other bands, the higher frequency bands, the lobes might break up, but that could be an advantage.
Yeah, I guess it could be. Well, I got rid of my tower and tri-bander and beams years ago, and I'm an all-wire guy. I like to experiment, Martin, with wires, and I've got inverted V's. I'm kind of like you. I've got trees behind my house, and you can't see. Let me just tell people, don't worry. People cannot see wires up in trees usually. I mean, if I go out there, Martin, and try to trace one of my wires, sometimes I have trouble tracing it. It's just, it blends in.
Yeah.
But I've got a 3/8 wavelength 40-meter vertical, ground-mounted vertical. I put out there. That was in one of the. I think that was in CQ or QST here recently. I built that. Built a little matching device there. I've got some buried radios, and it functions very, very well. It works very nice, and I've got delta loops, inverted V's, and so forth. But I think my go-to antenna is my extended double ZEP. Now, what's the origin of double ZEP? I guess the ZEP came first, right?
I think so. The ZEP came first, which was kind of half of that. That was a open wire line that went up to nothing on one side, and it was I don't know what it was, like 5/8 wave on the other side. But the double ZEP is really 2 5/8 waves that's phased. And like I said, it gives about 3 dB of gain, and if you feed it with open wire or ladder line, you get almost no loss in the ladder line.
Well, I think I think that ZEP goes way back, because they used that on probably the Hindenburg or the balloons, and I guess they just trailed it out behind, I believe. Just it's like an in-fat antenna. Yeah, it'd be kind of hard to trail a double one, wouldn't it? It would kind of collapse on you, I guess. But
Well, I had an extended double ZEP for 20 meters when I was a teenager back in Hollandale, and that was the best working antenna I had ever had. But back then propagation was real good, so I could work just about anybody that I could hear with my DX40 using control grid modulation on phone. And my DX40 Helicrafter DX40. It would be interesting to hear from the viewers what kind of operating they do. Not everybody is a DXer or a contester. Myself, I just like to have casual rack cues. Mostly more on CW, but I like to do it on phone. And the past time when I'm driving from Starkville to Atlanta, which is about a 5-hour drive, I like to operate mobile. And I have started operating a little bit using remote, but I just like the idea of using real radio and radiating from the car with a mobile rig. And so, but it would be interesting for some viewers to call in and tell us what kind of operating they like to do, because I know not everybody's a contester or a DXer. And I've gone to several DX conventions and contest conventions and given little talks. And most of those have superstations to contests in DX. But it would be interesting if I
just opened up the phone line, so we'll see if we get some calls in here, and we'll talk about all kinds of subjects of ham radio tonight. Hey, with a tablet you can operate mobile from your car with a RigPi back home. You know that. That's a neat little radio in the car now. I can take my tablet and get in the back seat of my truck and just hang that tablet on the back of the seat there, and I've got an all-band HF radio, and man,
with an amplifier and
I don't run an amp with it yet. I don't run an amp with it yet, but it's doable with that.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can even do it from a phone.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Hey, while we're waiting on some calls to come in, let's see. Yeah, phone number's up on the screen here. Hey, I came out down to your 40th anniversary and your 45th anniversary. Isn't it getting about time for the 45th? The 50th? When are we going to have that?
Let's see. In a couple of years. We have those we have them every 5 years.
Yeah, so we got to wait another couple years.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I tell you, a lot of people come to it. Boy, we enjoyed it there, man. Are you going to make it out to? Are you going to make it out to Pacificcom this year?
I probably won't go myself, but we might send someone out there.
Okay.
I want to tell you about the new machine we just got in.
Wait, let me guess. Is it a punch
Okay.
machine? Is it a punch?
Wow, you guessed pretty good, Tom.
I've got spies down here, Martin. Tell me about it,
This
man. I
is-
bet that sets you
this
back
is-
some big money, man.
Oh, and that thing costs more than my house.
Oh, man.
But what this thing does, it uses servo motors instead of a mechanical punch press, and it's got a loader on it.
Mhm.
You can stack a whole pallet of 4 feet by 8 feet aluminum sheets, and you can program it, and you can program it so it would punch entire kits of chassis. For example, if we wanted to make an AL80 amplifier, there's several pieces of metal that goes into that chassis. The
Right.
bottom part, the top part, the brackets, the meter brackets, a whole bunch of them. And it could punch them all out and have several of them. And anyway, it'll load that sheet up into the machine, punch it all out, restack it, and you can program it and turn it on when you leave for the evening. And that whole pallet of aluminum or steel sheets would be all punched up and ready for you
Now,
to
does
use the next morning.
it punch just one sheet at a time? It can't punch through like 20 sheets, can it?
It's one sheet at a time. It's a very
Uh-huh.
precision punching. Yeah.
Oh, man, that's cool. Well, you needed a new punch machine. I bet you that new head probably was getting old, wasn't it?
Well, we had 3 of them, and this one's going to replace all of them much faster.
got one now.
That's great. Who we got on the phone?
Tom, this is Russ, KG0BK.
Hey, Russ.
Touch base with you first. I told you last week we were going to try the magnetic loop antenna on 40 meters and got that thing up, got it running. Also blew capacitor big time that used to use, I put 1,000 watts through it, had no problems, but the magnetic loop, little problem there.
Wait a minute. You say you blew a capacitor? How much power were you running with that loop?
Only 100 watts.
Yeah.
I'm in a HOA, so I got it set up in my bedroom, and I got the loop to go to 7.5 foot in diameter, which looks not so good, but it fit right in there. And I'm the only one here in the apartment, so nobody cares. Started off with 25 watts, everything's fine. Went up to 50, everything's fine, and then I blew it. And then I checked the schematic or the design of it out, and it had 4.2 kilovolts at 13.9 amps across it. supposedly.
Yeah. Yeah.
What kind of
I
capacitor
thought
was
this
that,
thing would
Russ?
tune up anything, but it didn't work on that one.
Well, hey, Martin, you haven't been with us a couple weeks. I've done a little series on some magnetic loops last 3 weeks, and just threw some together just to experiment with. And we made one with just using a piece of coax for the loop, and then I made another one with a 1/2-inch copper pipe, and then I made one with 7/8 inch hardline for the loop, and it turned out really nice. And we've been discussing loops, and I told them about yours, how everything on yours is welded because of the milliohms, and but we're experimenting and we're playing with it. And this was, I guess, Russ, this is what, an air capacitor, right? And you can get voltages of 4,000 and 5,000 volts, and you can get currents of 50 amps, man.
Yeah, and this thing is rated about 2.5 kilovolts, so I thought it shouldn't be a problem. I didn't realize the magnetic loops went up that high in voltage. So I didn't blow it out. I think I could fix it. But I tried contacting you this afternoon on 50 watts with a different capacitor, and I could hear you, but that was about it. And of course, you couldn't hear me. And then I have a question for Martin too, if you got some time.
You go ahead, Martin.
Yeah. What kind of capacitor were you using, Russ?
Oh, just an air variable, but it was a biggie. In fact, it used to set in. It used to run our 1,000-watt transmitter, which sat out the doghouse of our 1,000-watt transmitter on a broadcast radio station for AM. So I thought that's got to be big enough.
Well, you know, we have available butterfly capacitors that are as efficient as vacuum variables. No rotating contacts. You might want to look at those, and they're designed for magnetic loops, so they can handle the power and the current.
So, Martin, would this be one of them, or not?
Let me look at that.
This is a butterfly. This is a butterfly.
Is it a butterfly?
This is a butterfly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a butterfly. Is it a
butterfly? Or
it's got a set of plates on top. It's got a set of plates on the bottom, and then it has the ones that rotate through them. You know.
Okay. What? I don't think that's a butterfly. That's a differential capacitor.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. It would be a differential.
Yeah. The butterfly. The name of the butterfly comes from the rotor. It looks like a pair of butterfly wings. That one is a half.
Yeah, this is a half. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
we have.
And there is a way. There is a way on these now. Russ, on your capacitor, was it just a single capacitor, a rotor, and a stator? I mean, it didn't have two sections, did it?
Yeah, it had two sections. Right?
Did you use both sections? Did you feed both sections and then just let the rotor kind of swing between them? That way, if you did that, you would eliminate the little pivot point right there. You know.
Exactly. No, that's what I did. Thinking that'd be fine, and not thinking that I didn't realize that you got it at 100 watts. You got like 4.2 to 4.7 kilovolts on that thing.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe.
Well, when you said it blew up, Russ, what does that mean? Did it arc over or what?
Well, yeah, I said blow up. No, the bearings and all that are fine. It just arced a bunch. It can be cleaned up and reused, but
okay.
I didn't like all that going off in my bedroom.
Okay. What did you turn it with? Did you use a motor or turn it by hand?
Yeah, I've got a little 6-to-1 reduction, which was a little quick, but that's what I started with a shaft in between a nylon shaft that hooked the two together. And it really worked neat, but or I thought it worked neat. But over 50 watts to get it. And it's about the size of the one that Tom's got, give or take, except maybe half that. The two were, if you divide that in two, the two were about that long.
Okay. What was were you using wire or a piece of tubing for that 7.5 foot diameter?
I used 16. I used 12 gauge wire.
Okay.
So let's see. I'll show Martin the last one. Here's the last one, Martin. Here's the last one I did. Just threw together to experiment with. So.
Okay.
I found out this aluminum, it's really strong, and it holds its shape well. And just I'm sorry. Yeah, this is a TV cable company coax.
Okay.
That they run down the line.
Coax is pretty lossy. It would be better if you used a smooth piece of, say, copper tubing from Lowe's instead of coax. That's pretty.
Well, this is not coax. This is hardline. It's aluminum. Let me show, I got a picture. Let me show you.
It's like an aluminum piece of tubing.
Yeah, let me show you.
Okay.
Let me see if I can find a good picture.
That should be good.
Oh, that was a pretty good picture there. You can see. It's aluminum. It's solid aluminum, and that's how I connected. That's how I connected the capacitor right there. I mean, nothing great. Nothing great. Probably lossy.
No.
But
then the lossy part would be that physical contact
yeah,
that you make with it.
yeah,
If there's some way that you could just solder it, and
yeah.
braid is more lossy than just wire.
Yeah, and again, this was hey, us just beginners, and we talked about the one that you've got, and I also mentioned to them how everything in yours is welded. Your capacitor, everything is welded. Here's the little loop I made, the little input loop, and of course,
I'd say yeah.
of course, just lay it in there, and
Yeah, just move
and
it around.
it was interesting. I'm gonna play with it a little more. I've got a 2 RPM motor ordered to put on here, and this capacitor, of course, the spacing not very wide. It'll handle maybe 10 watts, and it's a 20 to 300. It'll tunes about 6 megs to about 22 megs. That's about all this. That's about all this to do right here.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's neat.
But we've been talking about that a little bit, and playing with it and studying it, and I learned a lot about it, and
okay.
So
You said
And
6
Tom,
to
if you allow
22
me, I
meg.
have
Yeah.
one more question for Martin.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, Martin, I stuck an antenna up here, kind of zigzags, goes around the apartment inside, and I can tune it from 75 meters up to 10 meters, but how well it's going to get out, I don't know. So I'm thinking of the end-fed, and I looked at your 40-meter end-fed antenna, and it's got a little coil toward the end of the antenna, about 3/4 or better down away from the feed line. 2 questions. One's the coil do, and 2, should I use a artificial ground with that?
Is that a
Second floor apartment.
halfway?
Second floor apartment.
Martin,
Okay.
I'm guessing. Martin, I'm guessing that's kind of like a loading coil to get 80 meters on there. I mean, that's my guess. You know more than I do, though.
Which model number is that?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask, and I don't. And I've got all these model numbers written down of different things I wanted to try
Is it a
and look
40
at
meter version
again.
or
And I
80
don't
meter
know.
version?
I think this was just. Do you have just a straight 40 meter, like? Well, I've got an MFJ 2100, but that might not be it. I don't know. I'm sorry, I can't help you with that.
Okay. Well, some of those, because those end-fed antennas work on the harmonics of the frequencies. And some of the bands don't necessarily fall right on the harmonics, or they're shifted a little bit. So that coil is used to bring it back. So the SWR is low on the frequency where it was, where it's not exactly at one of the harmonics.
How ingenious. Well, then the other question is, should I use an artificial ground with any kind of an end-fed?
Well, normally the impedance is high enough that you shouldn't need a ground, but I think generally a ground would almost always help.
Martin, I've been looking at those lately, the infid, and the formulas, and the thing I'm seeing is that you can put a little counterpoise on those. 0.05, all that's required is 0.05 wavelength, and that's very, 3-foot piece of wire on there. Or some of them, I think, just use the coax coming back as the counterpoise. So I'm not sure how yours are built, but
yeah.
Okay, well, I won't take up any more of your time. Martin, thank you very much. And Tom, thanks for having me in again on the show.
You're welcome.
Yeah, well, thanks for talking to us, Russ.
So, Martin, I've seen a 9-to-1 balance, and I've seen 49-to-1 balance. Which one do you use on an end-fed?
Well, it depends on how close you get it to a half wave. If you get it as close to a half wave as you can get, 49-to-1 would probably work better. But if it's not exactly a half wave, the impedance will go down, and a 9-to-1 would work. But if you just take a coil and just kind of tap until you get the lowest SWR,
Yeah.
or you can use a tuner, a high impedance tuner. Basically a parallel tune resonant circuit, and it'll match it pretty good. The problem with half waves is it's hard to keep RF off the shield of the coax, and it's kind of critical on how you attach where you attach the other end, the free end of the half wave. So if it's up high or kind of low, or laying flat, it'll change the SWR some.
Yeah. Do we have someone else on the phone?
Yes, you do. You have WZL.
I'm sorry. Who was that? Oh, is that Bill?
Yes, sir.
WZ1L. Hey, Bill. How you doing?
Oh yeah. Hey, Bill.
Hey, Martin. Nice to see you in person as always.
Yeah.
I was trying to cover up, I should say, carry up for KG0BK. I guess he has a 40-meter MFJ antenna that has one of those things at the end there with a wire wrapped around it. And I own one of those. I don't have it. That's just a straight wire. So I'm just curious what 40-meter antenna you sell down there, end-fed, that has one of those things at the end.
Well, I'm not sure which one he's talking about. I think the one that has an extra coil is the one that's on 80 meters.
Yeah, I think that's to extend it to get 80-meter operation.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, because I have the 40 through 10 that I run from the shack window across the yard, and then I think it's the last 3 feet go around a tree trunk and end up straight across.
Bill, that's gonna send a crooked signal. You know that, don't you?
It shouldn't.
Yeah.
How you getting out, Bill? You getting out pretty good?
Well, I bought one of them diamond things there to go under the window. I haven't bought your window plank yet there, Martin, but that's coming. But it's this little thing that's got the SO238s on it, and you plug a coax in here, and I got a little small coax on the outside that goes into the input of the input, and I'll tell you, it works great. I mean, I've been working 40 meters CW off of it here now for almost 6 months. So
that's great. How
really
much power are you running?
Thank you for putting that out there.
Oh yeah.
So how much power are you running on it, Bill?
I'm running about, I can run 100, but I crank it back to 50 because I like to try to make them think that I'm a QRP station.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Bruce in the chat room says the MFJ 1982 LP is the 80-meter one, and it has the coil in it. That's the 1982 LP.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so it's not a 40. Okay.
It's not an 80.
So I guess that's just misdiagnosing it.
Yeah.
But I plan on buying one of them. Martin, I don't know if you've heard or not, but I have a situation here where we're going to be selling my home, and I'm going to be moving somewhere else. So basically what I intend to do is I have a dipole 8210, and I have the 40 meter infit, and they all go, what is it, east and west. Okay, I want to do something north and south, so that I got it covered on all bands in all directions.
Yeah, no, that's nice. You might consider putting up a cobweb that's almost omnidirectional.
Yeah,
And-
we got a good antenna for you there, Bill, at your new
Yeah.
place. If you can get a cobweb up, and it only
Well,
takes
it's
about
gonna probably be after. It's probably going to be after Dayton.
yeah.
In 2020, because that's probably when we're going to be selling the house. So I'm slowly trying to get 30 years of memories and whatever boxed up and whatever in the interim. And I do plan on coming to Hamvention, so if you're going to be there, maybe we can chat some more about that, sir.
Yeah, be happy to. Are you going to stay in Massachusetts?
Well, at the present time, it is uncertain, Martin, to be honest with you. And
Yeah. Come
I
down
really
here
don't
to the
know
south
where
it's
I'm
warm.
going or what I'm doing, but something. But anyways, we'll chat later, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again in person there. Maybe we'll have a cup of coffee or something there.
Okay,
Thank you for
sounds
letting me chat there tonight, Tom, and hope everything's well with you and Miss Kathy. So we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, Bill. Thanks a lot for calling, man. We'll see you soon.
Okay, bye,
Bye.
Bill.
All right. Oh boy, we got the music again. You know what that means? That means nobody on. So, guys, give us a call, 712-775-7270.
You know, it would be very interesting if someone would call and tell us what kind of operating they like to do. You know, I always imagine that there are a lot more hams that just kind of like to casually get on and just have a chat and just be friendly and just find out what, who he's talking to, and just have a casual conversation.
You know, I was talking to a young ham here recently, and he likes the digital modes. Of course, we didn't have digital modes, and he, and I got on FT8 or the digital mode for the first time last week just to try it out, and I'm making a few contacts on it. It's not going to be for me, but it's different. But he had a good point. Here he is, a young guy, and he says, I'd rather get on there and make FT8 contacts than to listen to a bunch of old hams talk about kidney infections. What do you think about that, man?
Well,
you don't have to talk about kidney infections, but
Well, no, you don't have to. And if you're a young ham, you kind of grew up with all the digital stuff.
Yeah.
And we just, us old hams, just kind of grew into our little kidney talks,
Well, but that was just the point that he was making, and I mean, I can talk to people about a lot of things. Talk to them about working on antennas and building antennas and trying different things. Hey, let's see if we can get somebody. Let's see if we get somebody. I don't know if we got anybody in Australia watching, but if we got anybody down under, give us a call. You'll have to go to, on our Facebook page, go to contact. The link, it says contact, and then over on the bottom left it says phone numbers, and there'll be a phone number for Australia so you can call in. We had a couple people call in the last few shows from Australia. I don't know if anyone's listening or watching tonight or not, but let's hear how they do it down under.
What time is it in Australia now?
I think it's sometime getting close to noon. I think noontime tomorrow. It's it's daytime. They may be at work. Well, I probably like playing with the antenna too much, Martin. I've got wires everywhere out there. I'm always looking for the miracle wire, that does the best. I'm thinking about putting up a big inverted L or something. Just building a little match to go at the bottom and playing with it.
For what, like 160
Well,
meters?
no, I've been seriously thinking about putting up a 5/8 vertical for 40. And I've got some pretty tall trees, and I think I can do the distance for a ground-mounted 5/8 vertical.
Have you tried a half wave on?
No, but I've got a
40?
3/8. A half is also. I'm thinking though. See, I've got a 3/8 out there now, and of course, when you go from a quarter to a 3/8, you get a little bit lower angle of radiation, so it's a little bit better. And I guess a half would even be even lower angle of radiation.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking if you can go 5/8, why would you go half or 4/8? Why don't you go for the full 5/8?
Well, the problem is it's harder to keep the RF off of the coax if you go to 5/8 wave.
Yeah. Well, even if you had a good match, you think if you had it matched well, you'd still have a problem?
Yeah, I think so.
And I've got a buried radio system, so I would have problems.
5/8 wave would need a radio system,
yeah.
But if it's a half wave, you wouldn't need much of a radio system.
Right.
Because impedance is so high. There's been several articles where they have tested a 5/8 wave against a half wave.
Yeah.
And half wave almost always turn out to work better.
All right. Well, I tell you what, you sold me on a half wave. That's even shorter. So hey, that'll be easier. Okay, we got somebody on the phone. Who's on the phone?
G'day, Tom.
Oh man, let's see. You're weak. Say again.
It's Tony from Australia, VK3TNL.
Tony down in Australia.
VK.
Hey Tony, how you doing, man?
I'm good, Tom. How are you doing? And g'day, Martin.
Hey, Tony. I'm glad that you called. What time is it over there?
It's lunchtime, so it's about 20 past 12.
Oh.
All right, hey Tony, you're so far away, Tony. I got the gain turned all the way up on my mixer. Talk just a little bit louder in the phone, okay?
I'll do that. We're a long way away. That's probably why it's a bit low.
Whereabouts are you in Australia, Tony?
About an hour and a half east of Melbourne, in a place called Yarragon. So
okay. Is that the south eastern part of Australia?
Yeah, that's right. Southeastern part of Australia.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do
you remember, I think it was Stewart Electronics in Australia? This go back several years now.
I'm not familiar with Stewart Electronics, but the main one here in Melbourne is called Strictly Ham. So that's where we get a lot of our stuff.
Oh, man. Martin, that reminds me, there was another company that sold little gizmos, or electronic gizmos and stuff out of Australia. I forget who it was. It was another little company. Oh, man. Anyway, hey, tell us about your operation down here. I know the laws are probably a little different down there. Tell us about your operation and what's your legal limit power, and I guess you can work the same HF bands that we do and so forth. Give us a little description of what's going on in Australia.
Yeah, well, I use the Icom IC7100, usually on an auto tune with a wire, and I've also got a DX Commander vertical system. It works a bit like a fan dipole. So we have 3 levels of licenses. Foundation, advanced is the top one, I guess the same as your extra. And we have a standard call as well. So the extra, we're allowed 400 watts of PEP for HF or SSB. And if you're working digital, then you're allowed 120 watts. But that's your limits.
Okay, so you got a little bit different rules down here, but we can still talk to you down here. Hey, and they just remind me in the chat room, Dick Smith Electronics.
Yeah.
Dick Smith.
Yeah.
Dick Smith Electronics, yeah, it's very famous. It's all closed down now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Well, are you, Tony, are you a DXer or a contester or a rack chewer, or what do you like to operate?
I wouldn't call myself a rag chewer, but yeah, I do a little bit in regards to on the weekends to contact SOTA and parks, or POTA as you would call it over there. I do a little bit of digital as well, a bit of RIDI. There was a RIDI contest on the weekend, and went out and did a bit of that, and a little bit of FT8 as well.
Okay, so you like a little bit of it all. That's great.
I was going to try.
Amateur radio, it's very good.
I was looking.
How long have you been a ham?
Not long, since 2015.
Okay.
You're seasoned, 4 years. That's good. Are you
not as long as you blokes.
Are you operating any mobile, Tony?
Yeah, so either mobile or from home mainly, but I also like to get out just on the weekend. We're out camping for a couple of days out in the high country. So bit of camping, and yeah, it was good.
Is that HF when you're camping, or VHF, UHF?
Well, we got the VHF and UHF, so they're usually a dual bander, but mainly HF. Somewhere nice and quiet.
Good. So when you're camping, are you on sideband or CW or digital?
Sideband. No, I don't know anything about CW.
Well, I have talked to a VK a time or two on 40 meters. I was going to say during our net, but it wasn't really our net. But I get on sometimes in the afternoons on 7180 where we normally have our 40-meter net, and we get a little group together. And we've had a VK. I was looking for the call. We had a VK call us a couple times. So 6 o'clock in the evening, that would be probably 10 o'clock or so in your morning time. So
so 40 meters would be a bit difficult.
Yeah. But we are starting to hear people like that. Australia has been in a couple times on 40, and South Africa, I think 2 nights ago, South Africa called us on 40 in the evenings.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah.
What kind of antenna are you using, Tony?
Sorry, Martin, what was that?
What kind of antenna are you using?
Just an end-fed wire, and I've also got a vertical wire system, which is DX Commander. I don't know if you've heard of DX Commander from the UK.
Okay. The DX Commander. I'm starting to see people using that. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, it's just like a squid pole that you put up, or a telescopic pole with about 6 wires. So it gives you all the way from 40 meters all the way to 10 meters.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess you lay a few radios down. You slide that pole up and you lay some radios down.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yep. So no tuner required. It's very handy out in the field. Very easy to set up.
Well, that's great.
Sounds good.
And I've just about to buy my airplane tickets with Qantas to head over for Hamvention next year. So me and a couple of other guys will be heading over with our wives, which will be good.
So, Tony, did you get by? Did I see you this year at Hamvention?
No, it was the year before, Tom.
The year before, okay. So, okay. Well, that's pretty good if you can make it every couple of years.
Well, Tony, be sure to come by the
back.
MFJ booth and visit with me.
Oh, sorry, Martin, I didn't catch that again.
I said, be sure when you come to Hamvention to come by the MFJ booth and visit with me.
Absolutely. I'll do that, no problems at all.
Love to. That would be very nice.
All right. So, hey, Tony, I don't have the international numbers listed here. Did you have any trouble finding the numbers?
No, I went straight onto your website, and it's pretty well. It comes up automatically because it knows where you are. So it just brings the number which is in Sydney.
Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Well, very good, man. Hey, I'm glad you called from down here. You surprised us. Thank you.
No worries at all.
Yeah, good talking to you.
Yeah, you're coming in. You're coming in at least 10 over S9 tonight. Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, well, we'll try and get on HF at some stage and try and give you a call as well. And we did have a bit of a chat on DMR. So there's another part of the system I use is the DMR, which gives you a bit of worldwide access.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Tony. Well, hey, thanks for calling, Tony.
No worries at all, Tom.
And thanks a lot for watching the show, man. Yeah, I know you're regular. Thank you.
Love it. Love it. It's fantastic. Thanks very much.
Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you, Tony. Bye.
See you, Martin.
Yeah.
We'll see you next year.
All right, thanks, man. All right, that was Tony down under, man. Down under.
Yeah, that was pretty neat.
There's that music again. I guess if I leave the music turned up, it would get on people's nerves and they would call in just to stop the music, you know? Yeah. Oh, man. Well, guys, we're getting close to about 9:30. This is probably about the time we would cut the show off here in a minute.
Yeah.
But we had a good time tonight.
Tom, I'm fixing to put my mobile antenna back on my car.
Are you? Now what? Now
Yeah.
your mobile. Do you have is that a collapsible antenna that you pull up?
It is. It's got a base-mounted air wow coil that I can use a wire with an alligator clip and operate any band from 40 meters down to whatever, 2 meters, 6 meters, but usually I operate 40 meters and 20 meters. And I can, when I'm here in Starkville, I will pull my telescoping antenna down so I can drive into my garage and set the 2 taps so I can do either 40 or 20 meters. But if I go somewhere, I pull that telescoping antenna all the way out, which is about 8 to 9 feet, and tap it either for 40 or 20 meters, or if I stop, I just change bands, depending on how the activity is. But generally, when I do that, I will run about 50 watts, and I have I've got several radio, but the one that I have in the car right now is an Icom 706. And sometimes I will operate CW in the car, and I'm driving.
Well, Martin, I had never really operated mobile that much. I tried last year to put a rig in my Silverado pickup, and I got so much ignition noise and gas pump noise, and it was just terrible. That's why I like the Rig Pi, to be able to use the Rig Pi. It's quiet, but so I tried it. But one of the things, instead of me taking a coil and an alligator clip and having to change it, I don't like getting out in the rain or the cold, and change the tap. What I like to do is take a little auto tuner, and you guys sell one of the little auto tuners. It's an 857 or something like that. I don't remember what it was. The little auto tuner, put it back here at the back of the truck, just put a steel whip back there, like a 102-inch CB whip, and put that auto tuner on there, and from inside the car, whatever band I go to, it tunes that whip for that frequency. I don't have to get out, man.
No, I think that's great. We've got a new antenna coming out that's auto tuning. It's kind of like that, but it's basically a loading coil. I have a question for some of your viewers. Is there anyone out there that is driving a Tesla that have had some experience using a mobile antenna on 20 meters and 40 meters? The Teslas the Model 3 have gotten down where it's pretty reasonable price, but I just don't know what the.
I was going to say, Martin, in our group here, Martin, probably the only person that drives a Tesla would be you.
Oh no! The Model 3, it's only about $40,000. I mean, if you get some extras with it, it's about 45. But they're. I mean,
I think we do have someone. I think we do have someone that joins us here that has a Tesla. It's a she. I'm not going to throw any names out yet, but maybe they'll answer. And are you concerned about RF getting back into the car or something like that?
Well, the other way around, RF getting into the radio where I can't hear anybody.
Oh, okay.
But also RF getting into the car. I've just not have heard many people operating mobile on a Tesla, but that Model 3, it started off at, I forgot what it was. It was like $35,000.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can't hardly buy a car for $35,000 anymore.
Yeah. One of the things about ham radio that always worries me, you put a high power radio in the car, even a 2 meter, say a 70-watt 2 meter rig, and the first time you key it up, have you ever had the feeling that you think, well, I hope the airbags don't go off?
Oh, I've not only had that feeling, but that kind of stuff has happened. Like the motor dies or windshield wiper comes on or something.
Yeah, I've heard of things where the transmission actually would change the speed of the car. I don't know of anywhere it's blown the airbags out, but that would be a terrible thing to press that mic button and that happens. So hopefully the engineers that make those airbags and those triggering systems have, researched them and tried to, prevent false triggers,
Well, the car that I'm driving every day is an old car. It's a 2003 Lexus LS430. And I have a mobile mount that I had mounted just under my bumper on the driver's side, and I use it to play with mobile antennas. And I don't run, well, sometimes I do full 100 watts, but generally about 50 watts or so. And I haven't had any problems with it. Either from noise from the car getting in the radio or the RF from the transmitter causing problems. I mean, it's an old car and I've got like 250,000 miles on it. But I was just curious about some of these electric cars, and I'm not even sure what kind of voltage that some of these electric cars use.
Well, I think those batteries, their series batteries get up in the hundreds of volts, I think. But of course, they have a 12-volt system, that you can tap into the 12-volt side for sure. I was told. Now, I was told by an engineer, an aerospace engineer, just 2 weeks ago. He showed me a little plastic power pack, and it had these little lithium batteries in it. These little high power lithium batteries, they can pack a punch. It's the same, he says, same type batteries they have in laptop power supplies. And he told me, he says, these are the same batteries they put in the electric cars. They just put maybe they have 1,000 of those cells in there, all series parallel.
Well, the Model 3 Tesla, the cheap one, has got those lithium-ion battery, the 18650, a little bit bigger than AA battery, but there's thousands of those. Yeah,
that's what he was saying. Yeah. I didn't realize that, but I've torn open before. I'm sure you've done this too, Martin. Tear open a little 9-volt battery. Take the top off. By the way, that top you tear off is a good connector. You can put leads on it and make a connector with it. But I've
Yeah.
taken a 9-volt battery open before, and it's got 6 little cells in it. It looks like 6 little
Yeah.
bitty batteries, you know. But I was
Yeah.
really surprised when he said that they had thousands of these batteries, these like AA size, in the electric cars. Man.
Yeah.
So Martin,
Well,
have you
those.
have you ever
Those-
have you ever exploded? I've exploded by accident a lithium-ion battery. Let me tell you. And I knew not to do this, but I had one, and I had it on the bench here, and I thought, okay, I don't have the charger for it, but I've got a lab supply I built, and I can set the current very low, and I can set the voltage really low. I clipped that on there, and I went out of the shack. And about 3 minutes later, I heard something go bang. And I ran back in here, and that battery had exploded on my workbench, and little metal parts were everywhere. The odor was so bad, it was toxic. I couldn't really get in here to do much. I made sure there was no fire. So I tried to go over to open the window. I only had enough breath to get the blinds up. I had to leave the room. I came back again after getting another breath to raise the window, and then I left and closed the door. And then I went and got a box fan, and I made a third trip in here and put a box fan, in the window. But that little battery caused some major problems, man. And I don't know how we don't have accidents like that in laptops and other things on airplanes and anywhere,
Well, there are restrictions on putting lithium-ion batteries and carrying them on planes. I've never had that happen, but I've read lots of articles where those things have exploded. Those 18650 batteries that Tesla used, the AA cells have got a positive and negative side, and they usually just, you push them into a holder. But I think these other ones, at least on the laptops, they're little tabs that are welded onto them. And you just,
Well, Martin, if you'll search YouTube, there are videos where people on purpose blow those batteries. They'll take these little flat cell phone batteries, and they'll hit it with a ball peen hammer to short it out. And then you watch it, and after about 30 seconds, you start seeing a little smoke come out, and then it'll catch on fire.
Man, I haven't seen that. That'd be.
You'll have to tune some of those in.
Sounds dangerous.
Yeah. All right, well, guys, we're going to say goodnight to everybody. Martin, thanks so much for being on here with us. Let's see, was there anybody? No, nobody's on the phone. Thanks for being with us again, Martin, tonight. Enjoyed it, and I'm still wanting to plan a trip to come down to Starkville and visit someday. We'll see you later. We'll see you then. Oh, hey, let me just tell everybody real quick when I sign off. I got my flu shot today. Everybody go out and get your flu shot today. Martin, you had your flu shot yet?
No, but I want to get one. Those flu shots work.
I think they do. Let me tell you, Martin, when you get our age, the first thing that's going to happen, you get sick and you get pneumonia, and that's pretty tough, man.
Yeah.
You don't always make it. You don't make it when that happens. So
right.
I would suggest
it
anybody out there.
End of the road.
I would suggest anybody out there get your flu shot, man.
Yeah.
If it's a chance it can help you, you ought to do it, man.
Yeah.
So, it was an easy deal. I had them at the doctor's office, put me to sleep. They put me to sleep, gave me that shot, and then just a few minutes later, I moved me to the recovery room. I woke up, didn't even know I had it. 73 to everybody.
They put you to sleep for a flu shot?
Nah. That's what I tell the nurse. I said, now, last time y'all put me to sleep, you put me to sleep last time before you gave me that shot. Did what?
That's funny.
Yeah, okay. All right, Martin, see you later. Enjoyed it.
Okay. We'll see you.
All right.
Good
Goodbye.
being on your showtime.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Okay, guys. Well, I think we had a good time tonight. Thanks to everybody for tuning in and watching. Let's see, don't get flu shots. It turns you into... All right, 73 to everybody out there. Thanks a lot for watching the show tonight. And see you next week. Join our 40-meter net if you can next week, and would love to have you there. I'll be in the chat room in just a minute. I'll join the chat room here in just a second, guys. Trying to look for my video to end the show. Let me think. What am I going to end the show with tonight? Can't find it. I guess we'll use a cat.
Any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.